Hi, this is Suchi, and in today's video, I am going to talk about zip function in Python. Zip. So what is the use of this function? For example, we have multiple iterable variables. Let us consider two as of now. So here you can see we have two lists. One is cities and another is states. So if I declare these two lists here, you can see that the first element of cities, the first city in the cities list is actually corresponding to this first element of the second list. And the second element of the first list and the second element of the second list, they are also corresponding to each other. So if we want to zip these two elements together and these two elements together and these two elements together, so in that case, how we can approach this? So let me just show you how zip can help us here. So the actual definition of zip is, zip will be like this, and we can pass any number of iterables here, and there is another keyword argument which is strict, and by default it is set to false. This is how zip looks like, and what it returns a zip object. So let me just call one help on the zip function. Here you can see it yields tuples until an input is exhausted. So let me show you how it works, then you will understand it better. So we have these two lists. Now what we want is, we want a list where we will have these two together as a single element, these two together as a single element. So let us just convert it into a zip. Let us use the zip method here, and we will pass these two in this. But now if we run this, if we have the result in a variable, and if we check the type of this variable, let me add a message over here. And also let me print the value. So here you can see the result that is returned having a type of class zip, and the value is looking like this. This is a zip object. Now, as usual, if we want to see the individual values or the entire values of this object, what we can do is we can convert it into a list or a tuple or even a dictionary or a set. So how we can do that? Let me just show you. You already know this. So if we convert it into list, okay, instead of doing this, let me have this entire code over here. We can directly add a list over here. So if we convert this zip object into a list, we can see the values like this. So here you can see we are having a list where each element is a tuple and each element is having one element from the first list and the second element from the second list. Let me show you just for your visibility. So here you can see The cities list is having Mumbai as the first element and states list is having Maharashtra as the first element. So the first element of the result we are seeing here is having a tuple which is having Mumbai as the first element and Maharashtra as the second element. So we are having the elements from first list and second list in a tuple format in this result if we zip them. Now let me add another list along with these two lists because zip can allow multiple lists, not only two lists but not only list even, it can allow multiple iterable variables. And let me just add a simple random numbers. So let me add, we can have string is also iterable, so we can have string as well. We can have some string over here. Let me add a string. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So let me just add 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And let me run this. And here you can see so this was the first list or first iterable. This was the second list and this is the third one. So here you can see Mumbai is getting grouped with, Mumbai is coming zipped with Maharashtra and that is also getting zipped with 1. So first element is coming from the first list, second element is coming from the second list and the third element is coming from the third iterable, which is a string over here. So this is how zip can create tuples with element by taking elements from all the lists or all the iterables in the order it is provided. Now, you might think that here we are having the list, first list is of length 6, second list is also of length 6 and the third iterable is also of length 6. What if the length is not same? What will happen in that case? Can zip handle that? So let us just check what happens. So basically what I will do is I'll change the length of this last iterable. So now this is the iterable that is having the least length. So if I run this, you can see that the result is having only 3 elements. So what zip will do? Zip will only work until any of the iterable is exhausted. So here this last iterable is only having 3 elements, I mean a length of 3. So it will only work till 3. After it is exhausted, it will not even process the rest of the elements of these two lists. So we can have variable length of elements. So this is how zip will handle this. But there is one keyword argument that is strict. So if we want the zip to work only if all the iterables are having same length, then we can add this extra keyword argument which is strict. And if we set strict to true, which is by default set to false, that is why it is allowing the iterables with different length and it is only processing till any of the iterable is getting exhausted. Now, if we set strict to true, it will not even process this input, it will throw an error. Let us see what happens. So if we run this, it will say argument 3 is shorter than argument 1 and 2. So as this third argument is shorter than argument 1 and 2, it is throwing an value error. But now if I pass this as expected, all the arguments are now having same length, it will happily get executed. Here you can see it is getting executed and giving the proper result. So this is what the use of strict keyword argument. Now, if we have different length for any of the argument, if I add some extra digits here, here also you will see it will say the third argument is longer than argument 1 and 2, which is also not allowed. But if we set this to false, then you can see this is running till the shortest argument. Here you can see the up to 6 it is processing. And because these two are exhausted, the rest of these elements are not getting, the rest of these digits are not getting processed. So this is how we can play with this. Now, is it only going to be converted into list? Can we only convert it into list, the result of zip? Definitely not. We can also convert it into any other iterables. So here we have cities and states. So what we can do? We can convert them into list, definitely, that we were doing already. We can convert them into other things. For example, tuple. So we can convert it into a tuple. What it will return? Here you can see it is returning a list of tuples. Then it will return a tuple of tuples. So here you can see it has changed to tuple. So we can create tuples also out of this. We can create sets also out of two lists. We just need to change it to set, and we can see here we are having sets, set of tuples. Okay. Now, another interesting thing we can do here is we can also create a dictionary out of it. So if we have these two lists with us and we want to create a dictionary where this will be the key and this will be the value, we can easily do that with the help of zip. Here we can add dict and we can see what is the result. Here you can see. Here you can see we are having a dictionary where the key is coming from the first list and the value is coming from the second list, and so on. So this is how we can play with this zip object, which is getting returned from this zip method. Now here, as I showed you already, we can pass string also. We can pass any other data type as well. Instead of passing two lists, we can pass anything else as well. Let me just show you few examples. Here we have cities and states. So let me keep this only. So instead of having this as a list, we can also have it as a tuple. We can mix it also because there is no issue. It can be any different type of iterables and any number of iterables passed in the zip method. So here you can see we can again zip it. If one of them is a tuple, another is a list, we can easily do that. We can easily zip it. Let me convert it into a list and print it. So here you can see we can zip a tuple with a list. Both of them can also be a tuple, also be tuples. That is also allowed. Here you can see we can do that. Even one of them can be a dictionary. In that case, the values which are going to be taken, that is going to be taken from the keys. Dictionary keys will be considered as values, not the other things. I'm just randomly adding some values over here to make it a dictionary. So here you can see just dictionary keys are being considered as the value of this iterable. So in this way, we can have different type of iterables. We can have string as well, as you saw that. So instead of doing that, but in case of string, definitely it is going to consider each character of the string as as the value of this iterable. So instead of having this, let me just show you. We copy this one and show you in another tab. So if here we have some string, let's say A, B, C, D, E, F. So this can also work. Here you can see this is also working fine. Let me just do this. Okay, this works as it is. So here you can see we can zip a tuple with a string also, tuple or list or whatever it is. We can zip a string with another string. That also is possible. We can do this. Here you can see it's working fine. So this is how we can use zip in different ways based on our requirement, where we can pass multiple iterables which will get zipped like this, and the output of zip will be a zip object which we can again convert into list, dictionary, set, tuple. One thing I want to mention here, we can also zip sets, but in case of sets, as there is no order maintained, it can be randomly zipped. We cannot predict which element is going to be zipped with which element. Let me just show you what I'm talking about. Let's say there is one set where we are having 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. And there is another set. For your convenience, I am just adding the same values. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, if we zip them, let me just convert it into a list after zipping it. If we zip them, what is our expectation? If we zip set 1 with set 2, what is our expectation? We will expect the values as 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, 4, 4. But the output might not be the same. Here you can see this is matching, but just let me change this to something else. So here you can see the difference. We are expecting 1, 10, 2, 20, 3, 30, and 4, 40. But here you can see 1 is getting zipped with 40. 2 is getting zipped with 10. 3 is getting zipped with 20. And 4 is getting zipped with 30. So there is no order maintained. So it is working fine, but only problem is the zipping happening is unpredictable. Which element is going to get zipped with what? We are not able to predict. This is the problem with sets. So if we zip sets, we cannot predict the order. So be careful when you are zipping sets. If this order matters, then it's better that we zip with list or some other iterable which actually maintains the order. So that's it for today, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. Keep learning, keep implementing.